Welcome to the Knowledge Entrepreneurs Show, where we celebrate the innovators driving change in the education industry. At Edison OS, we've worked with over 500 knowledge entrepreneurs to turn their edtech ideas into profitable businesses. Good afternoon, Dr. Rohit. Thank you so much for taking time out to be a part of this podcast, the Knowledge Entrepreneurs Show.
Thank you so much. It's my honor to be here on this platform.
Thank you. Thank you. It's our pleasure as well. Dr. Rohit, before we jump into the work that you do, I'd like to, ask a question which will probably help us understand more about the person that Dr. Rohit is. It'll be easier for our listeners to connect with you. So if you can walk us through your journey up until the point you became, you decided to become an educator or to work in the education domain, and what are the things that led to it?
Sure. The interesting part is I'm the first graduate in my family.
Okay.
And I'm not coming from a very eminent family. So
Right.
I grew up in a missionary home and I did my schooling from missionary school.
Right.
So I have the desire that I want to be an educationist and I want to do something, especially in the field of education. You know,
Right.
when you have
Right.
been not supported by your parents or by anybody, but you're self-supported, and the only support is from the home, from the children's home or from the school where you have been studying. So I did my schooling from Dehradun. I did my even graduation, even post-graduation from Dehradun. I started my career late from BPO, Convergence, and
Okay.
started the collar more of it
Right.
because to support myself and then support
Right.
my siblings too. Moreover, then I moved to a better position, moved to higher, better opportunity with another organization that deals with publication.
Right.
So where I have learned a lot from communication to publication now. So in publication, that how the books have after the author has written the book, what is the rest processes and all are need to be done, how the books are made,
Right.
the copy editing, proofreading, what are the terminologies they use? Are you for it's for digital books, it's for composition, it's for typesetting, it's for what? So
Right.
and all formats or what all technologies do you use? For which all devices do you use the books? For iOS, for Android, for Windows, for what? So I've learned a lot there. But I had a desire that I want to be into education sector only.
Right.
So that I got an opportunity to work and teach in one of the popular school in Ghaziabad, and I joined as a teacher, music teacher, in fact,
Okay.
because I graded from Trinity College London in violin, guitar, and keyboard. So I
Okay.
started teaching violin there, teaching keyboard, and even I taught guitar, even taught students how to sing,
Okay.
specific how to sing English numbers. Now
Okay.
this something a challenge for them, and it was a new thing for them. And though it was not new for me because all my life I've learned to sing only in English numbers, only in church, in school.
Right.
So it was teaching them how to sing the proper sopranos, altos, tenor, and bass to understand the basic concepts of music. Later on, I got the opportunity to initiate a program called NCC.
Okay.
NCC is a National Cadet Corps.
Yeah.
So, where being an NCC cadet, I was NCC cadet in my college days,
Okay.
certificate holder with Alpha grade. So I got the opportunity to why not to initiate here for the students. So I started the NCC program for girls.
Okay.
Later it came for boys too, but we started with girls, and I was the first instructor to train them how to do parade. What are the
Okay.
basic rules of march pass? How to salute.
Okay.
So, and what are if they plan to go out and serve the country? You want to clear the ND exam or CDS exam, and you want to serve the country on different levels. What are the rules? So, I have helped the school in different methods in music, in counseling the students, especially with career counseling,
Right.
with NCT program and all. But I want to do something more, maybe the desires, the dream, what you have.
Right.
And I moved to for higher education, where we work with the undergrads students and postgraduate students. But later, what happened that COVID has stuck,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
brought back to the zero. So the operations got closed. But certainly, my dream was not stuck. I started working on same, where I was helping the students, and I used to conduct the workshops for teachers, for students, and for parents, even for principals, in different cities, in different schools, in different vicinities, what they are looking for, and different modules of psychology.
Right.
So at the time when I left my education school, December in 2019, I finished my PhD. So my convocation was December 14, 2019.
Okay.
So that the only dream I always had, that I want doctor in front of my name.
Right.
You're coming from a background where there's no education.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
person who is educated.
Right.
So train my students and teachers is to say, are you educated or are you literate? So most of the
Right.
people do not even know the difference between a literate and an educated. So that's where I said I'm educated. That's why I'm an educationist.
Right.
So that's why I moved forward, and I helped to help these students for, especially for career counseling, and then help them up to go if they plan to go abroad for higher studies,
Right.
and then working very closely with government agencies, conducting exams, securing their exams, and in fact counseling the teachers, government teachers, and helping up to understand the 21st teachers training. What is the need of education? Either I should tell the teachers, especially post COVID, either you update yourself or you will be outdated.
Right.
Because if you, most of the teachers have realized when the COVID came, they were not even aware how to use Zoom classes.
Right. Right.
They're not aware of how to use technology. They're not aware of how to use Excel, how to work on PPTs.
Right.
So I've been taking conduction, telling them that please update yourself with time or you'll
Right.
be out. So that's where I have been training a lot of teachers in different cities and schools on how to work on Excel, how to work on PPTs, how to make PPTs, how to make presentable presentations, how to speak out on camera, even though you don't have a student. So the way there you're playing a role of an actor, you're acting, and still you're teaching,
Right.
right? So that's where you can say, oh, you're a good actor too. So then was thinking to start my own venture because I've seen a lot of struggle, a lot of opportunities, a lot of challenges, especially with educational institutions.
Right.
So come back, I don't know, you have read my, I've read an article on LinkedIn too. Education is not a business.
Right.
So that's one of the article I have written, and I posted this on LinkedIn and saying that let education be an its own roots where people can come to learn.
Right.
When they are learned, they can easily earn. Don't make learning as your earning.
Right.
So business should be there, but not on the stack of students, on the stack of learners,
Right.
right? So that's where I started my organization called Transbuilt Education, where I'm helping the school to rebuild, to transform right from scratch. If you're not able to run, I'll help you, guide you, support you the best I can.
Right.
Help you to, in whether in terms of infrastructure, whether in terms of IT, whether in terms of knowledge, IP, we call IP intellectual property. In You want me to help you in training the teachers, you want me to help you in training the students, I'll guide you, I'll take workshops, help them up. But do not leave the path for what you have stood in or you have today. So that's where my vision and goal is. An educator should not leave, because as I like the statement of Nelson Mandela, education is the only weapon that can change the world. I want to change
Right.
a bit. Education is the only tool or instrument that can change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because weapon is mainly for the destruction.
It's a negative word. Yeah.
Yes. Instrument and a tool is for the development, remaking, shaping. That's why I said Education is the only instrument or tool that can change the world.
Right.
It's how you use it, it's up to you.
Right.
Right?
Got it, Dr. Rohit. Uh, you said, what are the capacities in which you work with schools? Like literally, whatever there is a gap in a school that's being run, you say, you help them, be it infrastructure and all. And you also, I also read that you help schools come up to the global standards, right? Um, what I'd like to ask here is, because it's always been a problem in India for us, as far as education is concerned, or anything which deals with children growing up to be youth. That entire process, there is constant comparison with other countries, and this is where I thought, when you say global standards, what exactly, how would you define a global standard with an example, and how far are we from reaching global standards from an education point of view?
Very good question. I would say first the positive part is very few people who are actually have a burden for education, and most of the educational institutions are run by not educationalists, by the
Right.
business.
Yeah.
So when they do not know the crust of education, they'll not be able to do it.
Right.
Uh, if you see now in India, there's a very strange thing which I have seen. We call it tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5.
Right.
Have you ever heard such thing in US, in UK, in Canada, or in Europe?
I don't think so. I haven't.
As far my knowledge, no. For them, it's a country, and there is one education. In India,
Right.
what we see is tier 5 city student will look to the tier 4. Tier 4 schools will look to the tier 3 cities. Tier 3 cities will look to cities of tier 2. And whereas rest others will always look at, we have to become like Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, or Bangalore.
Right.
We are in the competitive and comparative state. Education is not a field of competition. Sorry. Education is a field of learning, gaining more and more. I've been asking people when I question them, do you have some knowledge, or do you understand the difference between a knowledge or wisdom? Most people do not even understand there is a difference.
Yeah.
So it's one of the same thing. It's no. Knowledge you acquire from sources, resources, from environment, from people, from friends. And the
Yes.
application of that knowledge is called wisdom.
Right.
An educationist can only explain and tell how to use that knowledge in the right manner. Let's take an example of any instrument. Pen. That's the only instrument for a teacher that can actually design their life or can actually destroy their life. So that can also be used as an instrument, can also be used as a weapon.
Right.
It's all up to you, right? Same thing. So when we talk of global education, we as a tier 1 cities, now I give an example, all these back cities, we say tier 2, 3, 4, 5, they look to number 1.
Yeah.
What about number 1 cities? They look to cities in schools in US, schools in UK, schools in Canada. We want to become like them. Why don't we have a school, just one school? Why do we have 5 different boards, CBSC, ICSC, IGSC, state boards? And a state board student cannot compete with CBSC student. Why? Because knowledge difference, curriculum difference,
Yeah.
standard. Why not be coming to the same level? Learning is same for all. That's what I like. One thing in defense, no matter how educated you are, no matter how least you have studied, if you have the skill to compete, you have a platform to fight to. Because there we look for people who are positive. There we look for people who are honest and who have a inquisitiveness of learning and to do something for the country.
Right.
So when I talk of global education, we means the education which is common in all. Now, IB concept, I've given you 5 boards:
Right.
CBSE, PSC, ICSC, state boards, and the next board is called IB, International
Right.
Baccalaureate.
Yeah.
Now, why that concept has come? Because we want to bring global education. A student in India who's studying in class 9th and being transferred in the middle of the year to US will be fiddling. I don't know what to start and from where to start and what to study. So when you study IB, you know where to study, what to study, when to start, where's the chapter, what, because the concept is all same.
Right.
That is global education, that the concept becomes same. Now, when we talk of higher education, it's the another gambling or another consortium, I would say. In India, when we say colleges, colleges comes under university.
Right.
Consortium of colleges comes under one university.
Right.
You may be having Chennai University, or you may be having DU, Delhi University, or
Right.
Lucknow University. Now, under Lucknow University, there can be 20, 25, 30, 50 colleges. But in US, UK, in Western countries, there is nothing as such.
Hmm.
If you say college, means you're going for a diploma program, for a certificate program.
Right.
If you're going for a graduate program, then it means you're going to a university.
Hmm.
So why? Because things are very clear, crystal clear. But why things are so jumbled here? Every time we have to adopt. Now, let's take in a few years back, government has applied CCE program. Where that CCE has come from? West countries. Recently, government has applied for NEP program, New Education Policy.
Yeah.
Where this program has come from? Western countries.
Right.
Why then? Because we want to make education global.
Right.
But we have to understand the need of an hour. Am I able to implicate the same concepts in the context of Indian education system? I've been counseling students, I've been counseling teachers, I've been counseling corporates and different people from different places.
Okay.
So we need to understand, as I've been telling teachers, see, we need to understand culturally we all are very different. I'm not talking of country, forget about the country. The culture in South is entirely different from the culture in North.
Yeah.
Culture in East is entirely different to the culture of West and North.
Yeah.
Now, within the Indian borders, when the cultures are so different, water taste is different, language is different, food taste is different. Think of the beyond borders. What would the culture in US? What would the culture in UK?
Yeah.
Education is entirely different. So we have to juggle around and somewhere bring to the table, this is what is beneficial to the student or to any learner or to anyone. Not to make it as a business or point of view of earning, but make it a platform where student can learn and can open a platform to give you earning. Hope I have answered your question.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Rohit. Dr. Rohit, one of the other thing now that you've spoken about global standards, right, and especially when you brought out the topic about when you address this differences within India, there's so much difference in culture. One of the basic differences is also amongst all the things that you said is the language difference. Of course, English, we are trying to adopt it as a language across India, where people from different states can interact. But I think there's a lot of time for us to teach there. Even today, I think people are comfortable in their regional languages. If you go into, as you said, tier two, tier three, and so on, if you go interior and interior and interior, it's only the regional languages that are in place. Now, when we talk about the gap between global standards of education and the current education system in India, one of the gaps is the medium of transmittance of this knowledge, right? Which is English primarily. But we are lacking in English itself. How much of a problem this is, according to you? Or do you see India adopting, the methods of other countries? For example, in France or Germany or Japan, they are very happy about their language and they teach everything in their language, right, as a tool. But in India, it's a bit of a mix. We are somewhere in between. How do you see this problem, and is there a solution for this?
Okay, I can relate this question to myself. My
Okay.
parents are Bengali.
Sorry, your parents?
My parents are Bengali,
Bengali. Okay.
from West Bengal.
Right,
But when
right.
I have to introduce myself, I always say I'm a culprit Bengali.
You're a
Now, whenever I have to introduce myself, I always say I'm a culprit Bengali. Now, why
culprit
is it
Bengali. Okay.
culprit Bengali? Reason: my parents are Bengali, but I cannot speak their tongue. I
Right,
understand it, but I cannot speak.
right,
Right? I can understand a bit. Now, more of it, not a big deal for me to be proud of. I feel sad and ashamed. I feel proud when I know my own language,
right,
because your identity is your language.
right,
If you say Malayali, means somebody's from Kerala.
right,
If you say Gujarati, it's not that he's from Gujarat. His language is Gujarat.
right,
One should know his or her own language. That's the first thing.
right.
Communication should always be done in first thing. Let me give an example. I was in Gujarat last year,
Okay.
and I asked one person, there's something written in Gujarati. I said, what is written there? And that person was looking at me in such a manner. In mind, he must be thinking he looks like to be educated, but why is he asking such a stupid question? Now I have to say, sorry, I'm not from here. I'm from Delhi. He says, okay, okay, okay. So he read something for me in Gujarati. Now I said, same. Now and then we were talking in English, and we
Right.
started talking Hindi. I've been staying in North India. I can bet you 99.5% don't even speak correct Hindi.
Okay.
What we speak is actually street Hindi.
Okay.
How many the language what you see written language we don't speak. English the way you speak same it is written. In Hindi no. If you really want to know correct Hindi pronunciations and everything, MP is the right place. Chhattisgarh is the right place where they speak correct Hindi.
Okay.
Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, they do speak correct Hindi, but still lot of flaws. Bihar, lot of flaws.
Right.
So if one is saying I can't speak Hindi, I can't speak this, so that's not a thing to be boasted of. One should know his or her first language.
Right.
English knowing is an advantage.
Okay.
Why? Because that's a language of a time. You will be meeting people around the globe. Now, you may be talking to somebody who's settled in US and won't be talking to that person in Hindi. Every time you won't be using a translator. No. But if you know the language, you can communicate your thoughts.
Right.
What is communication? Communication is, the word has actually come from Greek, kominos. Kominos means to be equal. If I say something to you, you should be able to understand. If you say something, I should be able to understand.
Right. Right.
Language should not be a barrier.
Right.
Talk of language, the people who can't speak, who are mum, should we blame them? No, they have their own language.
Yeah.
I'm a Muslim. I have my own language of playing instruments. We read music and play.
Yeah.
Yes. So language is an instrument. Again, I'm saying the same thing. Use it in the right manner. And one should be proud of. Knowing his or her own language is the first thing, and one should be proud of.
Right. So you're saying that what is the now language is a gap, right? When we have to think of global standards of education, language is certainly a barrier here. So either students learn English, or the creators, or the knowledge imparters share the same knowledge in different languages. right? Which is which is a better way of doing it? Is it better for people to learn English, or is it better for the the stakeholders to provide all the knowledge in different languages, or is that even happening today?
You know, it's a good thing. I was listening to one of the interview of Nawazuddin Siddiqui,
Right.
the famous actor,
Yeah, yeah.
and he asked one thing. He said and that your movie is in Hindi, the acting, the dialogues, everything is in Hindi. Why the normal conversation is in English? English is a language that's good. Why? Problem is today when if I say that I know English as a language, we think we are upper class, so we divide the class. Oh, he's a Hindi guy, he's an English guy. No. English is just a medium of communication, a language. It's not. It's thanks to British they have brought English. Otherwise, suppose British wouldn't have come to India. Suppose. Won't you think there would be English as a language in the country? There would be. British has never invaded Nepal. Don't people in Nepal, don't they speak English? Yeah, they do.
Right.
So it's not about who is coming or who's going. It's about knowing and how you value the person. If he can't speak English, it's okay. At least he knows his own language.
Right.
When I take sessions, especially for the stage fears, people who have phobia, is it giving a knowledge from the stage is really good. But if it has not entered their mind, you've actually wasted your complete 1 hour or 2 hours, whatever you have spent. So talk the language which your audience want to listen, not the language you know. Am I making sense?
Right. Yeah, yeah. I think
talk the knowledge, talk the language which the audience want to know, not the language you know. Otherwise, you're tapping yourself and praising yourself.
got it, Dr. Rohit. So you're saying that English can be a standalone tool that can be learned by people. It could be their choice. But let's say, for example, if there is a certain knowledge that we are as a country trying to transmit to, or as a country we are trying to bring all the people from all different parts of the country, up to speed, then it's better to cater to them in the language that they already know. That's the fastest way for us to kind of come up in terms of come on par with the global standards of education. Is what I understand from
Go
what you're
to,
saying.
sorry to interrupt you. If I go to a remote village and communicate to them in English with hi-fi English, they'll be looking at my face.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So I'm fooling myself.
yeah,
Talk their language. So both of you can understand what's the conversation is all about.
right.
Right?
Got it, Dr. Rohit. Dr. Rohit, I just wanted to, talk to you about this particular thing, just for you to, elaborate on this. You say one of the things that you do is drive the team to focus on the recruitment of international students and the development of existing and new international markets for a groundbreaking web platform serving the international education sector. You're talking about recruitment of international students, right? Could you elaborate a little bit more, like what exactly you're trying to accomplish here?
Okay. In international education, we call it, okay, let me put this way. This is for the students who plan to go abroad for their higher studies. In terms of
Okay.
graduation, of post-graduation, in terms of doctorate program or diploma program or anything. Now, recruitment is a term which has been used in international markets. Though in normal terms, we use recruitment for a job or for employment.
Yeah, yeah.
That understanding is. But in international education, recruitment is meant here that students who plan to go abroad and we process their applications, help their applications to get admission in the universities. So a
Got it.
team of
Got it.
a counselor from Canada, so somebody say I'm a visa counselor expert from Canada, I'm a US expert, I'm Australian expert. So they help to understand the requirements of the country. Now, people say that I want to go to the particular university in UK. So the question comes, have you done IELTS? I said, I
Right.
want to go to the university. Now, IELTS is not the requirement of the university. It's a requirement of the
Right.
country. Because
Right.
tomorrow you will be going on the street and buying up something. If you can't speak street language, you would be fiddling yourself, right? That's one reason IELTS English exam, or OET is English exam, or TOEFL is English exam, PET is English exam, which are help the students to know they know basic language, so they can actually communicate. And when they attend university, they should be able to understand what's going on.
Right. Got it. Got it, Dr. Rohit. Dr. Rohit, you also mentioned that you help students, you involve yourself with counseling of students, right? Helping them choose a career path and stuff. Now, this is one of the topics that has been there in almost all of the podcasts that I've been having with guests, right? One of the points is it's not a black and white thing. Everybody would like to be in a career that they are interested in, that they really like, but different people find what they like in different stages of their life. And most of them say appropriate time would be somewhere around the age of 15 to 16. um, have you figured out a way to help somebody who's just 16 years old find out what they like? Or is that a hit and miss? It is going to work for some, it's not going to work for some. How do you look at this?
It's a very interesting question. And I have seen most of the people, counselors, even people, parents, guardians asking this question, what you want to be? You must have also heard this term.
Right.
What you want to be?
Yeah, yeah.
And I, as a being a counselor and psychologist and being an educator, I always feel this is a wrong question.
Okay.
It's a wrong question. I would say this is an incomplete question. Question is what you want to be? Good. Now, followed question should be why you want to. You want to be doctor,
Right.
but why?
Why? Okay.
Because your father is a doctor, your parents wanted you to be a doctor, your relatives are forcing you to be a doctor, or there's a peer pressure, or the environment or the community where you live in. It's a time of attitude which has come. Okay, now it's a social symbol, or I would say community statics. We say you must have seen Three Idiots, right? Person want to be a photographer. You must have seen Three Idiots.
Yes, yes, yes. I've seen the movie.
Person want to be photographer, but he's landing up
Yeah.
in engineering. Why? He want to be something else. Why are you going there? So my question, recently today only I have written one article of Express Your Heart. I was just before this session, I was writing one of the article for somebody. So I was saying, see,
Okay.
you want something, it's good. But question yourself saying, why I want to do this?
Right.
Ask those 5 abuse one age. You want to be engineer? Why? Which field of engineering? Why? What is the focus? Where you want to do? What are the prospects of this? And how you going to process the complete? Where is the roadmap you have made? In case, if plan A doesn't work, then what? So do you have a backup saying, okay, if not this, then I want to go for this. If not this, I want to go for this. Now, a person who's saying, I want to go for a medical field. The medical is an ocean.
Right.
So my question comes, which field of medical? The medical has two different, now it
Right.
comes to medical or paramedical. There's a medical. Now, what? MBBS, you want to go for dental, you want to go for BPT, physiotherapy, or you want to go for radiology or what? So certain
Right.
things be clarified. Asking a right question to a right person at the right time will solve everything. In psychology, we say the solution of any problem is in the root of the problem. The only thing is we have to
Right.
ask the right question to the right person at the right
Got it. Got it, Dr. Rohit.
time.
Dr. Rohit, this was really not in my list of questions to ask you, but since you've mentioned this, right, to all the counselors that may be listening in, if you'd like to share, say top three questions, especially people who are dealing with 15, 16-year-olds, what three questions would you suggest that be asked from a career counseling point of view?
Good thing. Okay. The common question which you ask, what you want to do in life, it's one good thing. Why you want to do? Question comes, what made you think that you want to be such and such?
Hmm. Okay.
What
Okay.
motivated you? What encouraged you? Or what pushes you or give a sign of motivation in you that says, okay, I want to go in that particular field? Number two. Next question. What are your workouts for this? What are your preparations? I
Right.
know one of the student, I asked her, what you want doing there? She said, I want to go for civil services. So I asked her, what have you taken in 11, 12? She has taken PCM.
Hmm.
Sorry, but PCM is entirely different. Your civil services are entirely different.
Right.
It's my interest to study PCM, but I want to go for civil services. I had a long chat with her. I said, yeah, one thing. It's good you like the subject,
Right.
but keep your interest one side and keep your career one side. Actually, you're not
Right.
wasting your time, but you have actually taken somebody's place.
Hmm. Okay.
I remember the school where I was teaching, there were near about 5, 6 teachers were there who were
Okay.
teachers and physics teachers.
Okay.
Now, fortunately, they all are BTECs. They have done, they have cleared IIT from Roorkee, from Khan, for different IITs gold medalists, all of them. So I asked them, saying, if you wanted to be a maths teacher, why you have done BTEC? Why you went to IIT? You have not just
Hmm.
wasted your time, you have wasted somebody's place. You have taken somebody's place. Some deserving candidate could be there. So
Interesting.
this questions the problem will come when you don't have a proper roadmap. What made you think that you want to get this? What are the preparations? What are you doing to achieve your goal? Because unless you have a goal, you won't be able to make a way. Next, third question. If not reaching that particular goal, about where, somewhere, you're planning to. That's when how much you're targeting
Hmm.
in class. 99%. Do you think I'll be able to
Right.
achieve 90%? If not 19%, at least I'll get 90. So somewhere close. So your heart won't be disheartened. You won't be disheartened, and you'll be saying, at least I've tried.
Right.
That's more important.
Got it, Dr. Rohit. Dr. Rohit, you also said, your second question was something to do like, what has motivated you to pick this up? Or, why do you think you want to do this, right? What exactly are we trying to find out by asking this question? Because does that motivation has to come from a certain space? Is this the answer where you kind of tell, oh, this is not the reason why you do it? Is that why we're asking that question?
See, actually, as I said in the beginning, culturally we are very different.
Right.
Community and society we live in India today,
Okay.
it's not in terms of competition, but it's in the world of comparison.
Right.
The world is not about competition. Sorry to say. The world and the society today, sorry,
No, that's
give,
that's fine. I think your kid just woke up.
yes, yes, that's so. See,
You can take a couple of minutes of break if you want to attend to your kid, doctor. Okay, fine.
she's okay.
Great, great.
See, the society and community where we live in, it's not competitive. We use a term, a lot of competition outside. No, there is no competition.
Right,
Problem is about comparison. Sharmaji's son is this. Vermaji's son is this. And what you are doing?
right,
So it's about competition. It's about comparison. Now, when I said this all, it's all because what motivates you? Are you
right,
look from the mind of a psychologist, a child psychologist? A girl child is so fascinated with to her father. Boy child is so fascinated to his mother. As the child grows up, he thinks my parents are the only strongest people in the world. My father is the only strongest man in the world.
right,
My mother is the best cook.
right,
So the child thinks, oh, I'll be a chef because I learned from my mother. The child thinks my dad is the strongest, I'll be a wrestler. And they wrestle themselves. Fine. As the child grows up, start going to school, when he sees other students, when he try to taste the food of other mothers, then the comparison comes up. His mother cooks better than my mother.
hmm.
So why aren't we teaching a child right from beginning, appreciate what you get? We unintentionally teaching our students to compare. His father has Mercedes. My father comes just in scooty. When we come in this in college, I don't want my father to come and receive me. When I'm in a picnic or somewhere out with my friends, I don't want to receive a call of my father. But if he's a known figure, I'll proudly pick and say, yes, dad. Why? Because it's not about competition, it's about comparison. And that is not the requirement of global. It's a problem of our upbringing, how we treat our children. We don't teach students in school. Unfortunately, the system is really vague. We teach students subjects. We don't teach students skills.
Yeah,
I was talking to somebody and said, what you're looking in the CV of that particular person, you'll not find, because
right,
CV talks only of your qualification and your experiences.
right,
CV doesn't talk about the skills, about the nature of a person, how patient the person is, how skillful the person is, how good he is in communications or interpersonal skills. It doesn't talk because CV doesn't have a
right,
mouth. You talk on the first value of the words. Feelings, how will you express? Because there are no words. Emotions, how will you express? There are no words. Can you express me or explain me how to define pain? Can you explain me or define me in words? What is the feeling when you see your child and when you hold a child for the first time? Can you define me in words? No. We try to look for the words the best we can. Even Chat GPT can't help you here.
right,
So these things need to be trained in saying, understand and accept where you are. Don't compare yourself. God has made you the best He can, and unique you are. One of the students asked me, "Am I look beautiful, or I don't look like beautiful like that girl?" I said, "It's the right question, but go and ask your mother same question. For your mother, you're the best or the most beautiful girl in the world, and as for you, your mother is most beautiful woman in the world. So why are you comparing? Who asked you to compare?" So unintentionally, we have trained our students, our children, to compare. This is, we haven't said, no, you should look at others. No. And the problem comes with most of the parents when they say it. See, he's doing this much, why can't you? I would suggest
Right.
treat them and train them, not abuse them. You know, there's a one good saying of Chinese whisper, which says, treat a man with a fish, you feed him for a day.
Yeah.
Teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So
Right.
as an educator, my task is to teach, train. And fortunately, education or the teachers are the only ones who open the doors for all professions.
Right.
And we are the most degraded people. Yes.
Oh, the educators, you mean to say, are the most
Yes.
degraded? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes, the situation can be way better, definitely, because unfortunately it so has become that, I sure things are improving, only uh, for the teachers that are teaching subjects that are directly related to jobs, or say for example competitive. But in the formative years in schools, I don't think teachers are still attached the kind of value that the teachers here are given, unfortunately.
Right.
um, Teaching has become a profession where if people fail in the things that they train, they end up becoming a teacher as a last option. I think we know that about that
Right.
in India at least. Definitely that can change. Dr. Rohit, I'd like to go back to the point you made when you said, faculties you've seen, math professors and teachers, they're all from IIT, they've done BTech and stuff like that, right? And you said, they've actually taken away somebody's place who would have actually been an engineer. But I don't think, my question is this: how do you be so clear? I mean, like, is there a way that you can probably suggest? uh, because I don't think somebody decides to go do their IIT choosing to be a professor or something, the mind changes, there's lack of clarity. So how exactly do you arrive at that clarity early in age? So does it have to do with the way you bring up your child? What are the things that you do? Do you have to do something early? Is 15, 16 years too old to talk about the child's interests? If you can throw some light on this.
Sure. Have you ever used Google Maps?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
before you go anywhere, what Google
Okay.
asks you?
Destination, right? And
So
your
if you know
location.
something, your location you don't have to put, it will select on its own.
It will select on its own. Yeah. You just have
But
to
does
press your location.
ask you. The moment
Yeah.
you put destination, it will give you the complete roadmap.
Right.
So if you plan to do IIT, you have something in mind.
Right.
What
Right.
made you think? My question repeats again, same thing. What made you think that you want to clear JEE and or you want to clear JE and you want to be engineer? I'm not against that. Fine. But if you're already cleared in your mind saying I want to be a teacher, so there are ways. BSc, MSc, B.Ed, be a teacher. B.Ed, Tech or IIT is mainly for whom?
No, but that's what I'm saying. They may not have been clear that they wanted to be a teacher. They would have wanted to be an engineer, but then after completing it, they would have thought, okay, you know what, I'm going to be a teacher or a professor.
So this is what happens when you're not clear with your thoughts or not clear with your intentions or with your career when you started. Even the middle of it, when you completed your BTech or you become IIT. So the condition that you're not getting a job, so I thought, let me start my own venture of coaching institute, or let me be a teacher because I'm a mathematician. One
Right.
condition is that. But there must be something which you have pointed that you want to clear IIT. If you can clear IIT exam, JEE exam, that means you are brilliant
Yeah.
and you can do multiple things. right? But taking a detour just for the sake of self, it's not the answer to the question. Sorry.
Mm. Right.
We go,
So you're saying
it's
counseling?
big, sorry, it's a big problem in India, till class 12th, every parent is looking for private schools, convent schools, and they're ready to pay
Yeah.
hefty fee. But when it comes to why they want to give IIT or why they want to go to for NEET exam and clear go to AIMS, because they don't have to pay fees. There we pay the
Right.
fees because we are the taxpayers and we pay their fees. And unfortunately, when they come out as a doctor or as an engineer, they take a visa and go and settle in US and become an engineer in NASA or in Microsoft or in Google. So we paid the fees for whom? For the development of our country. So it's rightly said, padega India, badega America. You
Right.
know, it's more of one has to be a very clear in your thoughts that what you want to be. When people ask me, I want to be doctor, I say, which doctor? They say, I want to be a surgeon. Clear. MBBS, MS, surgeon. Clear, straight. You want to be specialized in something? Yes, you can be. Heart specialist, cancer specialist, oncologist, or what? Then I said, when you want to be engineer, what field of engineering? Mechanical, civil, or electrical, or what? What's your aim? Okay, once you have cleared you have BTech or you're clear become your IIT or what? What you want to become? Yes, I want to be in particular field. I've seen BTechs coming, clearing their IIT, going to IIMs and working in Samsung or some other companies. So what was the aim? What was the goal? Some way either the counseling was not correct, even they were not guided properly, or they're not able to choose the right career path. Indian can do a lot better if India uses its own resources, that students, in the right manner. Do you know why
Right.
it's Israel has it's mandatory for every individual in Israel to serve the defense for 3 years at
No,
least.
no, no. Why is it?
The moment you come to 18 years, every individual has to serve Israel defense, whether Air Force, Navy, whatever.
Right.
Army, it's up to you for three
Okay.
years.
Okay.
3 years you are complete, then you have learned to be disciplined. The one thing what
Right.
you have given to the country, your country has taken care of you right from your childhood till 18 years. Can't you devote just 3 years to your country, to serve your
Right.
country, and you're paid for it, services?
Right.
There is no harm.
Right.
One should be able to serve its own motherland, save its motherland. And why, if you ever plan to go to Israel and stay in any of your hotel, you'll see even every waiter or waitresses, you'll see they're wearing a commando uniform. Everybody is having a revolver or something because they are
Oh
surrounded
wow.
by enemies everywhere, and they all are commando trained. They're not to hurt you, but they're to protect you.
Defend. Yeah. Yeah.
Why the crime cases are so much in India? Because our educations are the least thing. Interestingly, in COVID, what was the first thing which was opened? If you remember,
Not schools for sure.
which was the first thing which was opened?
uh, Restaurants, hospitals were definitely open. I mean, they had to be
They were
open.
open. They had to open. Yes.
Yeah, it was never closed. Malls and the something to do with entertainment and we are not talking about basic needs here, right? Like supermarket, vegetables, and all those things were taken care of.
The first thing which was open, not even basic grocery stores. The first thing which was open was liquor shops.
Liquor shops, right?
And schools are the last to be opened for the education. And
Right.
school teachers were working, even the schools were closed because buildings are closed. Class school is not closed. So
Right.
teachers were teaching online. So what
Right.
is the interesting or most important? The liquor shops or the education? This is what
Right.
happens. So essential, the topic which came, what is more essential? The liquor shop, that's the first thing it has opened, or the education, the last thing that has opened. Even now, schools are not completely open. Why? Because third wave is coming, so they've closed down the schools. Why is only the schools are targeted? Hospitals have minted the money like anything. I've been, two example, I've been carrying people from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. in the night, sometimes 1 a.m. in the night, in my car, taking from one corner to the other corner of the city because ambulances were charging 100 times. Why?
Right.
So educate. Why I always say, uh, one has to be one. Anybody who wants to be a leader has to be a good learner first. And learner he can only come when he learns to be educate himself in the right manner, so he can lead himself. There's a clear-cut definition of a leader. Leader is the one who doesn't. Uh, Leader is the one who create leaders, not the followers.
Right. Right.
So as an educator, my task is to train the students. A lot of students are coming back to me and they ask me, hello, hi, because now they are in good positions. They are earning much better than me.
Right.
I feel proud. I don't feel jealous because I feel proud. They are my students. I've trained
Right.
them right
Right.
from scratch. Yes.
Got it, Dr. Rohit. So you're saying that, proper guidance and counseling at the appropriate age for students will, to a large extent, solve the problem of uncertainty about a career for a
Exactly.
student. So it is a must for students
Mhm.
getting properly counseled and being aware of what are the avenues that are available to suit their interests will, at least, if not 100%, it will solve the problem to a large extent. Because um, partly the problem is guidance and counseling, partly the problem is also commitment, right? Some people's minds are not as committed to one thing like other people's. Some people keep changing and stuff like that. So that's where I was coming from
This
when you
is
said that.
add here. See,
Okay.
life is always about team plan A. You're not able to get plan A. Plan B is always there. Plan C is always there.
Mm.
But be flexible. But doesn't mean that you should not have a motive.
Right, right, right. You're saying that even if you figure out you are not a very, if you're a fickle-minded person, if you keep change, if your mind keeps changing, also plan accordingly is what you're trying to say. You figure out you're that kind of a person and make a plan according to which, make a plan that will suit. That is what you're trying to say.
See, what
Am I
happens in
correct?
life? Yes, yes, you're very correct. What happens in life? Two things people fall off.
Right,
Once we think we are overconfident or we are overlearned.
right.
With all humility, I'm sharing. I have saved 11 people from drowning.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And most of the people whom I have saved, they all are swimmers.
Wow. Okay.
Now, think is the irony is, see, who will drown? The person who doesn't know swimming won't go to the river.
Correct. Yeah.
Logically, he'll not go because he doesn't know swimming.
Correct.
The person who knows swimming is so confident that, oh, this river is, I can.
Uh,
And that's
right,
where
right,
he,
right.
if you are confident, very good. There's something which said, no, when I train my students, they say, if you're nervous, it's good. If you're confident, it's very good. But if you're overconfident, you're gone.
Right.
So learning
Got it.
is when you take a decision for life, you have to be thinking, what is next? If not this, then what? Mission A fails, there must be plan B. Life doesn't end there. I like the statement of Raj Kapoor saying, show must go on.
Show must go on. Yeah.
I don't know, this is related to this or not. If we have time, I can share a story with you.
Sure, no problem. Please go ahead, Dr. Rohit.
There was a World Cup final match was going on and was about to happen in just
Okay.
5 minutes, maybe just 5 minutes. Final match, and the call came to the coach, the manager, saying that there's a bad news for the main player,
Okay.
that his father died.
Okay.
Now, coach was in a situation what to do. Should I tell because emotionally that will down the person, or should I not? If I don't tell, then it's a problem. If I tell, then it's a problem. He made courage. He went to that person and said, "See, I have something to tell you. I just got a news that your father passed away." He said to the coach and said, "Can you just give me a minute?" He went to the corner and prayed in his style or whatever he did, and came back and played the best match ever in his life.
Right.
He made 17 goals that day. And that person name is Pele.
Okay.
Okay. So when after the match, which was questioned, that we have never seen you, that's why he's famous, that you played so
Right.
well. He said, my father was blind.
Hmm.
He has never seen me playing. He
Hmm.
has just heard. But today he can see that his son can play.
Hmm. Right.
There are many parents, many educators who has not seen their students, their learners have reached to what level, but we don't feel jealous. We feel proud that I have taught them these guys. So the mission, my as a learner, as a trainer, is to guide you on the right track. Take the right track. Wherever
Right.
you feel or fall, I'll help you. But don't go with mindset, fickle mind saying, okay, if not this, then this. You're not in a vegetable market that you have options available. Career is not vegetable market, sorry.
Right.
Career is a goal which can actually make you or ruin
Right.
you.
Dr. Rohit, next question may irk you a little bit, but
Yeah.
I have to ask you. I'll probably paraphrase or rephrase it slightly a little bit. My original question was this: you have exposed yourself to pretty much all aspects of the entire spectrum of education, right? You spoke in the start in different ways that you partner with people. One of the one of the type of listeners of this podcast are aspiring educators or somebody who's doing something in the education domain. What are some of the as soon as we talk about education in India, we know that there is training, teachers, coaches, and now we know there is counseling and all those things. But what are some of the most underrated, unknown opportunities for people to contribute and make a living out of in the education domain that you see a shortage of?
This is a my good question. I would say because education is in the wrong hands.
Okay.
Somebody asked me something, and I said leadership matters a lot. A right leader can lead you to the success. A wrong leader can ruin you for life to hell. A teacher is a person who can either make you or ruin you. Right?
Right. Right.
The worst part is when we compare about education,
Hmm.
which is the best country for the teachers for education, or in terms of paying, or in terms of respect. Do you know?
I'm not sure if this is correct, but I've seen it here and there. It's one of the Scandinavian countries, right? Sweden, Norway, something like that. Am I correct?
Yes, it's Finland.
Finland. Okay. Okay.
Finland is the country where teachers are highly respected to the level of the president of the country,
Okay.
because they say they are the nation makers.
Yeah. Yeah.
These students, we say, they'll be the nation makers of tomorrow if I don't shape them. See, one thing, when a potter shapes a pot, it's his choice
Yeah.
what shape he wants to give to the pot.
Right.
Choice of a teacher by same curriculum is his choice. He can train the students. And the
Right.
part is, the primary teachers are the most underrated, and they are the actually who are working really hard with the students, because that's a tender age where you can
Yeah.
change and play with their mind.
Yes. Yes.
We pay excess amount to the teachers who are teaching 11th and 12th.
Right.
They already know a subject. They are taking coachings. They are doing this. They know everything. But students who are coming right from zero, from nursery, pre-nursery, play school, they don't know anything.
Right.
They just know mummy and papa. And the whole world is only now teacher. So that's why mother always say, if you don't eat, I'll call you a teacher. Yes. If you don't sleep, I'll call you a teacher. Because that for that child, the teacher is the world. And unfortunately, our primary teachers are most underrated ones. In my view, they should be highly paid.
Right.
They should be well respected because they are dealing with such minds, very
Yeah.
tender minds, which can be molded the way you want. Hello?
Got it, Dr. Rohit. Mm, Another topic that I wanted to touch upon was I saw that you also use music uh, to help people with their mental health. You pretty much use it as a therapeutic thing. Can you talk a little bit more about that and the state of mental health today in education also? Should that be brought into the education? And we've got class periods for math, physics, science, and everything else, right? But today on social media, if you see, there are a lot of things that we lack, like at least people who grew up in the 90s, 80s, 2000s, who are not exposed to social media as much. There's so much gap in personal finance or life skills, basically life skills. So you said, I read you also work with the governments to implement new policies and stuff. So are you also, how importantly, how much is life skills and mental health, all these things, how much are they going to be a part of the future education in India? Do you have any information on this?
Sure. Okay, before I go answer your question, I have a question to you. Do you know that music, physics, and maths are very closely related?
Do I know?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay, very good question. Do we use rhythm in music? One, two,
Yes,
three,
I've heard
four.
some of the vocab. I I don't know much about music, but some of the words related to music I know are rhythm, tempo, pitch, maybe. Yeah, tone, tune. These are the
This
things
one.
that I know.
Have you seen piano ever?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
You have seen black and white note?
black and white notes. Yeah,
In English, we say do re mi fa sol la ti do. In Hindi, we say sa re ga ma pa da ni sa.
right.
Those
I've heard of
notes,
this.
what you
Yeah,
see, the black notes, what you see, are designed by Pythagoras.
sorry, the black notes. Sorry, your voice broke. I'm so sorry.
So piano notes, what you see, black and white, are designed, the complete scale, that's called scale, is
Right.
designed by Pythagoras.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Pythagoras theorem.
So very clear. Now, your rhythm part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, even dance will say five,
Yeah, yeah,
six,
yeah. Seven. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard.
because your steps are in rhythm.
Rhythm. Right.
So those numbers, the beats are what? Music. It's all maths. If you don't follow rhythm, you'll be out of rhythm. Okay?
Right.
This
Right.
how out you are, how shallow you are, how slow you play, the frequency. It's all physics.
Right.
The sound of music is a slow, low, high, medium, what? The examples in physics, you'll always study this.
Yeah, that's
No.
the pitch, right?
Yes. I played a vital role in rewriting the art integration program. Art integration means how music, theater, dance collaborates with other subjects. Now, today, when
Right.
we talk theater, who is the first person come in your mind?
When we talk about theater,
Yeah.
for me, probably from where I grew up, Girish Karnad is a person I've heard who's doing a lot of theater here.
In global sense,
Globally, theater.
Shakespeare.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shakespeare as an author. Yeah, his works are the ones that are mostly used for theatrical works. Yeah, right, right, right. I
And
didn't make
made,
that link. I was only looking for actors.
yes, and Shakespeare is the known uh, writer for theater, right?
Yeah,
Where
yes, yes.
he his dramas.
Right.
Where do you read his dramas? In English language.
In English language. Yeah,
So the language and theater collaborates with each other,
correct.
right?
Yes.
The dance, the steps. Dance always has to do with culture.
Okay.
So if you study in South India, you'll study Bharatanatyam. What is
Right.
Bharatanatyam? South Indian culture style. How people think and dance. Because it's all creativity of your thinking. And
Right.
thinking comes from psychology, social studies. You study about the history, dance history, it's a SST subject. It's geography subject.
Right.
Yes. So how these subjects, these activities, vocational subjects, so we call, or in our term we call it liberal arts, collaborates
Right.
with the regular subjects. That's why we have designed a program called art integration, where we
Right.
define how these subjects are correlated and working very closely with other subjects. So we have
Right.
designed for the NEP, New Education Policy for 2020. And I was one of the person I was leading the team, and we have written that. The thing is, today you must have heard a concept called music therapy.
Yeah.
Why music therapy? Especially people who are with Down syndrome or autism. God has given you a concept of rhythm. Even when you walk, it
Right.
goes with rhythm.
Right.
Even when suppose something, automatically your finger flicks and goes with rhythm.
Right.
You may not be very in tune with as a singer, but you may be in tune with the rhythm. When somebody you hear some sound, your steps moves like a dance move. Why? Because music is not outside, it's within you. Some people explore and make it as a habit. Some people just keep it themselves and just enjoy. So when we say music as a coach, or when I say music therapist, it works very closely understanding person's perspective. By music, by the way you play music, I can catch you, or we can catch you, what mood you are in. That's why it's in a music. It's a happy music.
Right.
A person who is beating the drums irrationally, how would you commit him? He's angry. A person who is going enjoying, he's expressing himself. Just it's very interesting. You know, this morning only, right before your thing, when I was writing the article, I was writing another proposal for something that's I'm starting a new concept that's called listening clinics.
Sorry.
I'm
Listening.
starting a concept of listening clinics.
Listening to
Listening,
lyrics.
listening clinics.
I'm so sorry. Your voice is getting broken exactly at the
Okay.
point. Listening
I'm
lyrics.
planning to start a concept called listening clinics.
Listening clinics. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Now, this is for something you have come to me and I'm dumb, I'm deaf. I'll just listen to you. No solution. You just come here to express yourself. There's a room, you are so angry with your, maybe your wife, maybe your boss, or maybe something happened. You want to break something, please. You want to break the TV, you want to break the mirror, you want to break, do whatever you want to. Express yourself. There's another way, talk to yourself. I'll add a short story if you allow me.
Please, yeah.
Father was taking a tea in the morning and reading his newspaper. Suddenly his son came up running to him and he dropped. The tea was dropped on his shirt and pant, and he got so angry. He yelled at his child and went to change his shirt. By the time school bus came, by the school bus arrived, and the moment he reached down, buses left. And he got more furious. He took out his scooter, was in hurry, jumped the red light. Then the today's fine is 25,000, so he had to pay 25,000 for that, jumping the red light. Reached the office, the school, dropped the child and came back home. Got fresh, went to take his car, saw the tire is deflate. Okay, he got more angry, got the car repaired, and then reached office late. One incident. Reverse the situation. He was taking his tea, reading the newspaper. His child came running, dropped the tea, and he said, "Son, just be careful next time." Bus arrived, he dropped the child, went to change the shirt. Same thing. Your mind is same. This mind is not a pressure cooker. If it would be a pressure cooker, there would be a whistle up on the top.
Yeah.
So take what you need. Do not have to take every single thing. Churn out. When you take tea, you have to do with the tea, not with the leaves. That's why you stir it.
Right.
Well, you can take it, take it. Forget rest. There are three types of people in the world. Some people listen and take tension and worry about that. Most of the problems come in the world because of worry, because of tensions.
Right.
One person was just asked me yesterday, I have diabetes, I cannot take sugar. I said, nobody gets diabetes because of sugar. Sugar is never a cause of diabetes. No. The cause of diabetes is stress, tension. So some people think, listen and take tension and worry. Second type people, listen and throw it out from here. Third type people, they'll listen here and send back from here only.
Right.
So it's up to you how you take it. You'll see all sorts of people, all sorts of problems in the world. That's where music plays a role, to soothing yourself. Music,
Right.
when I train the students in music, when I teach guitar or violin, I tell them there are three ways of learning.
Right.
Either you play for yourself, or you play for somebody, or you play with somebody. If you play for self, you play right, wrong, good, bad, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if I'm playing for somebody, if I play wrong, his song will gonna spoil.
Right.
And when I'm playing with somebody, or with orchestra, or with band, my one bad note will spoil the complete band. So music teaches you to be patient. Music teaches you to be a team member. Music teaches you to be a good listener. As that's why I'm starting a listening clinic. Music teaches you to wait for the right to be have patience. Music teaches you to be calm. Much
Right.
more to. Hope I've answered your question.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, we started off, the question was about the question. I'm so sorry. The question was so convoluted because it started off with music therapy and mental health. And then I asked you, how are there things that are done to include life skills in school? And then that's when you said about art integration. And that is being implemented in the new education policy, is what you said. Am I
It's
getting this?
mandatory. It's mandatory.
It's mandatory. Wow. Okay. And when can we see that being implemented in schools?
From
All of
2020,
this.
it's already started. It's already started. Schools
Oh, great.
are supposed to
Okay.
start, yes.
Great, great, great. So I'm sure the current crop of teachers may not be equipped to deal with this, right? I mean, what I mean to ask is, so there is an opportunity for new career opportunities for teachers. They can upskill themselves in these areas, and they can, I'm sure a lot of schools will be searching for teachers who can handle these subjects, right?
It's very interesting. To speak English, I don't need to be an American or a
Right.
person from. To learn music or to listen to music, I don't have to be a musician.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Anybody, anytime can listen, right? Music is for all, and learning
Yeah.
is for all.
Right. Got it, Dr. Rohit. I think all the topics that I wanted to cover, I pretty much did, and it was, uh, I was just thinking maybe the conversation with you is very different because you definitely seem to have a lot of things to say about certain topics, and I'd love to kind of have a part two at some point, maybe before that. I'd love to kind of sit with you for 15-20 minutes, curate some topics because you definitely have interesting things to talk about. um, my questions came from whatever you have put out in your LinkedIn profile, and can only do so much. But I think after I've had this conversation with you, I can probably go and come back with another set of 20 questions. That is what was in my mind. I'd love to do that sometime, maybe 3 months down the line, whenever you're available. If you wish, we can totally do that. um, because now that I know, I can craft questions even more, you know, more relevant questions is what I had in my mind. But this has been great. One of the things that's always been a gray area for me, whenever I've tried to understand, is the counseling aspect. And I think we spoke at length as far as the counseling is concerned, and how students have to kind of be guided at the right time and at the right point and stuff like that. And I think
Before
this should help.
students, parents need to be counseled well.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, did you say the counselors also have to be counseled well?
No, no, I said before the students, the parents are supposed to be counseled well.
The parents have to be counseled well. Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. Because unfortunately, students are the only target audience where they are not the decision makers, right? Because there are so many stakeholders in their lives. So many people, knowingly or unknowingly, influence students' lives. And I think today's parents at least are aware because of their own situations, how they got into a situation. Because 90s, 2000s, 80s, we all had just two options: engineering or medicine or lawyer or something like that. But or accountancy, CA, for example. They were like 4 or 5 major pillars. But I think today, people who are working, who are in their 30s, who are in their 40s, they've realized they have so many other interests and talents. They see on social media people thrive, and I think that's when they start to think they can do the same for their kids as well.
Can I add here?
Sure, sure, please talk. Yeah.
See, 60 per. I was taking a session last month in one of the school in Haryana, Karna.
Okay.
So for the parents and for the teachers, for the 21st teachers teaching jobs and all, jobs and so on. That's called new age jobs.
Right.
60% jobs are still undiscovered.
Oh wow. Okay.
As you said, there are 4 5
Sure.
options you had:
Yeah.
medical, lawyer, engineering, or maybe some other field of accountancy and all.
Accountancy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
60% jobs are still undiscovered. How come?
Right.
Recently, we have come up with game designers, interior designers. Somebody's thought of why not to start a Blinkit cab facility,
Yeah.
Ola,
Yeah.
Uber. What are these? These are business opportunities, job
Right.
opportunities.
Right.
So there are many more. Think we are in the world where every second is an opportunity for somebody to work.
Right.
Being an anchor to one of the, or being the host of like a live show is an opportunity. Yes. You
Right.
don't have to think of call the RJ from Radio Mirchi. No. Anybody can. You have a guts
Right.
to speak. You speak well, please. Most welcome. It's a job opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd still say 60% jobs and more are still undiscovered. We have to try it. We as a counselor can guide you. You have to swim. I like the statement of Shah Rukh Khan in Chak De. I have fought my battle, trained you well. Now these 70 minutes nobody can take. Here you have to fight your own battle.
Right. Right.
So as a trainer, as a counselor, as a teacher, I have trained you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you have to.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Rohit, for this, for sharing your valuable time with us on the show. It was wonderful talking to you. It was insightful. I hope to, as I said, I hope to, get back with you for another conversation at some point. Until then, uh, I think we will, I wish you all the very best. And
So,
especially given that, you're working with the government as far as the education is concerned, I think you're playing a very key role. So all the best to you, and I wish you all
thank
the luck as well.
you so much. Thank you. Have a great day. You too. Take care.
You too, Dr.